Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and this is going to be a cool battle. I am playing as Bretonia. I figured we bring them because they have some pretty dope peasant archers, and I wanted to see how they dealt with wood elves. So I have 2 trebuchets, 6 peasant bowmen, a mix of men-at-arms with polearms and halberds. I have flying paladin units. I have tons of guys, but the main core of my force, as I stated, is going to be these peasant bowmen. I heard people talking about how, yeah, they're pretty effective and they can outgun wood elves, so I wanted to give it the good old college try. So we'll see. I think 6 is a bit overkill, but yeah, I mean, that's how you're going to test whether or not it's powerful or not. I do have some Grill Knights hidden in the force. I knew I had to bring some kind of big units like that to hit the enemy treekin and whatnot. My ally is also going to be Wood Elves. He's deployed in the forest here, Glade Guards with Starfire Shafts, and then a whole bunch of treekin in the back. And they're cool. They kind of blend into the forest here. So this is kind of a cool epic shot of what you'd imagine the tabletop, or at least the lore, is supposed to be, where you're straight up in the forest, tons of elves massed, tons of trees coming to life and animating themselves in the background. And then the enemies here actually are going to have a pretty funny build that you'll see as we kind of go cover them here real soon. But most of it consists of a fuck ton of just eagle riders. And so they're moving forward here. You'd imagine they'd come and dive bomb us. And so they're scouts of the enemy. They've come over and they found all our guys. They're kind of trying to probe us, and it looks like they're trying to stand here and get some shots off. But yeah, this is not where you want to be. I'm starting to reform my peasant bowman to try and shoot into these guys, but my ally is already all over it. I think some of the shots are being deflected by the forest, so we're not doing as much damage as we would have expected. But still, it's a fair amount of damage against these guys. And I think our enemy here brought in like at least half of his army is all of these Hawk Riders, so I thought that was pretty funny. And here, coming out of the forest, looks pretty epic too. So many of them. And so they do, maybe they're not effective, but if anything, they do look glorious. Look at this flock coming out, led by a forest dragon. That is pretty epic. So I'm sure some of our guys shat their pants, and some of the birds shat on them as they flew over. But the main army is pushing forward, some treekin moving ahead. This elven army here is mostly actually going to be composed of war dancers. Something I had tried before against a beastman build with Asrai spears. But I mean, against Bretonia, that's not going to fare too well. And we have another big mob of Hawk Riders, so tons of these guys on all sides. But my ally has kind of hemmed himself up at the forest edge, so yeah, I don't expect them to do much damage while we're bunkered inside. Meanwhile, my guys are going to move into a supporting position, and we're trying to push forward with some of our cavalry. The enemy's kind of trying to swarm around the flanks, and there's this big mass of guys that we've covered already that is threatening my flank, but I'm really not too scared of them. Even with the latest patch, they don't really do that much damage, and you can kind of swat them away, so I'm not too worried about that. But they could come around and try and snipe some of our lords, so I do have to worry a little bit about that. But my army, not too worried. I'm a little bit concerned about these treekins pushing forward on my flank, so I pull back with my Grill Knights. And I do charge in here with some Pegasus Knights. Came in and just stomped these Hawk Riders. And then I take off immediately, get out of the action before these Asrai spears, or the war dancers with Asrai spears, tie us down. There is a Glade Lord in the mix on a Great Eagle, but I pull out of there, and my ally with his Wild Riders also was in the mix, so we did some good damage and pull out with minimal losses, which is pretty good for us. I'm going to put this on slow motion just so we can kind of understand what's going on. So while that engagement is taking place, the main lines have been charged. The enemy war dancers did get in the mix, but I mean, they're going against some of our buff guys, and actually this is really funny. I don't know what the hell is going on, but my guys are packaged up like it's Christmas. It looks like we're getting a video bug, whereas some of the textures have failed to load, so this looks super goofy, but in the spirit of Christmas, we're going to do an early unboxing of my treekin here. Wood Elves, gifting them to the other Wood Elf faction. But it is a Trojan horse of a present. They're going to come in here and start beating these guys up. So this is a really funny texture glitch that we're getting here. I don't know if anyone else has gotten this, but I found this was freaking hilarious. And it does almost make them look cooler, I would say. So that engagement's going to be taking place. Our Eternal Guards with shields are going to be reinforced with treekin. Yeah, we're going to tank this out pretty heavily. More of these monsters coming out. And so we're going to hold the main line. Meanwhile, our archers in the rear are going to start firing up over our heads. But geez, this is too funny. Freaking cool. And actually a bit later you'll see some of the textures on the map have been kind of messed with as well. So we'll see that nearby. The second Wood Elf army is kind of staging itself over here. Treekin also bundled up in Christmas packaging. And then it looks like they're going to get ready for an assault around this flank, but I have already kind of put together a patchwork defense. I've spread out my archers, so if they do get charged, not all of them get hit at once, and then I've spread out my halberds. This flank I'm pulling back because we've kind of done a fair amount of damage, so I'm going to pull back to the safety of my archers and just kind of wait for the storm to hit me and allow my ally to kind of hold the forest because he seems to be doing that very, very well. Let's go back and see what's happening in the forest. So the enemy main lines are getting thrashed. Yeah, they brought swords and spears, but man, we're doing tons of damage. Enemy archers are going to start firing, but for some reason they just don't have enough archers massed to do much damage to us. They're going to be trying to shoot into the forest, but as we've seen, shooting into the forest is kind of hard, even with these elves. I mean, looks like 90% of their shots are hitting the trees. That's one of the things people have complained about. So we'll see if Seiya ends up patching this. Meanwhile, a huge monstrous spell gets off here. Looks like it just obliterated some of the Wood Elf units. Another one going to be popped, going to be coming down. Holy crap, look at this. Sucking up all these Wood Elves. Not doing that much damage, but the sheer chaos that it's causing to this unit is freaking absurd. That has got to be one of the coolest, scariest spells I think I've ever seen. And then they're all going to stand up bloodied from that encounter. Pop back on slow motion so we can see what's going on here. We charge the Glade Lord here. Looks like we're going to be able to destroy them. My Knights of the Realm do have a net to slow them down, but nothing to shoot at me, so I'm not too worried. I have the enemy lord trapped anyways. I'm still bottled up here. The attack has not been it hasn't hit me yet, but it is definitely incoming here soon. Treekin coming out of the forest. All sorts of stuff is coming around, so I'm going to have to react to this. The Treekin are kind of going around my ally, so he's going to be left as an island in the forest. But now you can start to see the massive units. Cavalry charges. Oh my god, this is a lot to come in and face them. And you can start to see the 6 volleys worth of Bretonnian peasants firing into the sky. Louis Leoncoeur. What do I call him? Louis Leoncoeur gets in the mix, plus the Grill Knights. That's going to be enough to just tank out against those Treekin. And then all my archers, every single one of them is going to mass fire on the Forest Dragon over there, plus incoming paladins and all sorts of flying units are going to come in and just nail the riders. Look at all of those volleys getting in there. Yeah, we're going to make short work of the enemy flyers. This is going to be really easy. Look at them just hitting the floor. My team is going to dispatch a Forest Dragon, and look at all my archers now focusing fire on him. A couple volleys missing, but a lot of them hitting, and this is one of the reasons why I spread out my archers. Yeah, he can hit me, but immediately my archer unit next to this is going to turn around, and look at him pincushion with these 6 Bretonnian archer units, so you can make mincemeat of these Forest Dragons and a lot of the huge enemy forces. God, this is crazy. They even have a great eagle there with I think that's a spell singer trying to get in the mix, but yeah, both of them are going to be destroyed pretty easily. And this is like 20 seconds in, and that Forest Dragon is gone. Look at all the volleys chasing after it. It's already been just shattered. So that is the power of these Bretonnian peasant bowmen. I assume they're going to be nerfed in the future when Bretonnia gets its roster buffed out, but for the time being, they're super strong. Meanwhile, the Grill Knights seem to just spank these Treekin, taking them out. The main assault against my ally has been seen off on that front, and then on this flank, yeah, the enemy is still kind of stuck in it, but they're getting slaughtered. Combination of spells and our monstrous Treekin, just doing a lot against the enemy. I don't know where our opponent on this flank's bows were, but they were just not contributing. Look at this concentrated fire. Now our next target is going to be this eagle, and man, is it bloodied. Immediately it's going to start routing, and it's going to start to get out of there. Try and follow the path of the great eagle, or sorry, of the Forest Dragon, and now you can see it running away. And I think a couple volleys are going to be chasing after it. Yep, there you go, another couple volleys coming after this guy. We're going to nail him to the ground. But there you go, both of the heroes seen off. So that enemy flyer build, yeah, it doesn't really go well against Bretonnia. I always love using the Bretonnian units, they're super fun. There are a couple units in the distance here still alive. But now from a range, I'm going to destroy them with my trebuchet. Yeah, these guys can try and prance out of range, but boom, every shot that hits is going to tear through them. So pretty punishing. And yeah, the closer they get, the more damage I can do. I don't even think they want to get closer. I mean, this is only trebuchet fire. And yeah, all of a sudden the enemy, I think they backed out at this point, knowing that all was lost. I had a full strength army. I don't think I lost like even any unit. Just backed myself up on top of the hill and shot in all directions. Oh, and here's some of the texture glitches that I was talking about applying to the rocks. So definitely something happened to my game or my replay. So it wasn't just the treekin, but even some of the rocks seem to have been painted an odd color. So I thought that was kind of funny and goofy, and it kind of pairs well with Christmas being around the corner anyways. So yeah, this is interesting. It does definitely show that Bretonnia is a pretty good counter. I recommend you guys do check it out. It was really fun to kind of plant myself here and just watch the volleys fly. So the final build here, it's a shame there's still the bug where you can't click on your enemy forces. You can see my build here. A fair amount of kills overall and almost no damage done. Just 2 to the Knights of the Realm who were engaged against some of the enemy troops early on, but almost nothing else was injured. And yeah, 3 energy fiend there was the guy with a lot of the Hawk Riders. He got totally thrashed and destroyed. Mr. Rajni had more troops, but also had almost no impact on the battle. So I hope you guys did enjoy that one. It was a relatively quick fight, a demonstration of the superiority of the Peasant Bowmen. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Peace out.